Not only did President Trump squarely recognize more evil around the world today, he also told the world that the United States is in fact taking sides in the battle between the Palestinians and Israel. President Trump declaring once again to anybody who listened, there are two sides in this. There is an evil side, the Palestinians, their leadership, Hamas, and there is a good side, Israel. And the days of the confusing, days of the misunderstood, days of the United States being some sort of an honest broker between two equal sides, that day is done. Those days are over. President Trump moving our embassy to Jerusalem today told the world that we stand with good. These are not equal sides. These are not both sides who have a legitimate claim to peace. One side is good and one side is evil. And for the first time in my lifetime, an American president said squarely, unapologetically, we stand with good. We're not going to be in the middle anymore. We're not going to confuse the rest of the world as to where we stand and who is Israel. To discuss this historic day, really pleased to be joined by David Horowitz. He's the editor of Front Page Magazine, the founder of the David Horowitz Freedom Center, author of Big Agenda, President Trump's Plan to Save America. David Horowitz, so glad to have you with me. This historic day, give me your thoughts.
Well, first, let me give a little tribute to President Trump. This is a great leader to have done this. He's doing it against all this world opinion, which has supported for 70 years this terrorist attacks. There isn't an individual who was charging that fence and throwing whatever they were throwing into Israel, who's a refugee, who ever lived in the Israeli territory. There is no occupation. The only occupation is to prevent these terrorists from killing innocent Jews. 70 years of unprovoked aggression. The land on which Israel was created in 1948 belonged to the Turks, who were not Arabs and certainly not Palestinians, for 400 years previously. American Indians have a greater claim on the United States than any Arab does on any piece territory that Israel occupies. Israel's great mistake was after they were attacked by 5 Arab, or actually it was 8 Arab dictatorships in 1948. Then they were attacked again in 1967. What they should have done was expelled every Arab from the West Bank, which is the historic homeland of the Jews, Judea, that's where you get it, Judea and Samaria, and push them into Jordan, which is today 70% of Jordan are Arabs from this region called Palestine. By the way, Palestine is a Roman, it's a Latin word the Romans gave to humiliate the Jews whom they had just slaughtered in the 1st century AD. And it comes from Philistine. And the Philistines weren't Arabs. They were red-headed Aegean sailors. So this is an invented people, invented to destroy, to kill the Jews, and it's a religious war. Hamas is an Islamic terrorist organization. In its charter, it calls for the extermination of the Jews. It has never made a secret of wanting to destroy the state of Israel, and the moderate Abbas is a terrorist himself, who has said that in a liberated Palestine, which includes all of Israel, there won't be any Jews. How, I mean, I'm actually shocked. I saw my friend Juan Williams defending this, talking about the United States has to be an honest broker between terrorists and Democrats, freedom-loving Jews. Yeah. It's in a society which is completely integrated. There are over 1 million Palestinian Arabs living in Israel. They have more rights as Palestinians in Israel than they do as Palestinians in Gaza or the West Bank or any Arab country in the Middle East. This is nuts. And it's just, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I agree, David. So, look, it's been law in this country since 1995 to get our embassy into Jerusalem. I don't want to lobby a softball, but I will. How come all of President Trump's predecessors didn't do it, didn't do what he did today?
Well, in Obama's case, it's because he identifies with the Palestinians. He hates America and he hates Israel. And he's just sympathetic to the Islamist cause. In the case of Bush, it's just cowardice. Bush didn't defend the Iraq War, which he should have. It's this. These politicians, they make their peace with completely unjust situations. And in Clinton's case, it's pretty much the same thing. He fired 40 and 50 cruise missiles into Iraq, but he didn't take on Saddam Hussein, as Bush, at least to his credit, did. But the left,
David,
the
what will happen?
Media,
what do you expect to happen next in the short term? What's going to happen next in the short term?
There's going to be a war. I mean, if it hasn't already started. Hamas, Hezbollah, and it's Iran that Obama built up. Iran, Obama is an American traitor. How else can you describe a man who built his foreign policy, and it was for years, on reviving, lifting the sanctions from a Hitlerian regime in Tehran, whose leaders were chanting death to America and, of course, death to Israel, their creatures are Hezbollah, this terrorist army that has crushed Lebanon. Lebanon was once a Christian Arab democracy, believe it or not.
Yeah.
And
boy, David, I gotta stop you because I could listen to you all day. I so enjoy listening to you. Thank you, my friend David Horowitz. Thank you for joining us. Hey, coming up, don't blame Israel. Blame Hamas for all of those deaths today in Gaza.